This segment is all about exit planning for your business. Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial, and this segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to lead their fields, educate consumers, and to leave a legacy. Joining me on this segment is Kelly Baumbach. She's a certified exit planning advisor. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Great to be here.
Kelly, tell us a little bit about your work and specifically who are the types of clients that you help?
Yeah, so within the wealth management, financial planning, and exit planning arena, the majority of the clients that I've worked with have either owned a privately held business or still own a privately held business. And we really help through all the different things pre or post sale, generational planning, financial planning, estate planning, etc. are the main types of clients that we work with.
Have you found that these business owners, they're great at growing their business, but have they put much thought into exit planning? Do they know where to even start? What's it like working with your clients?
Yeah, you think of the conversation regarding exit planning in so many different facets. A lot of times people don't want to talk about the exit planning until they're planning their exit, instead of really thinking about it multiple years in advance and looking at the different scenarios that are out there. It's difficult sometimes for business owners to start planning for various reasons. One, it's kind of their baby, it's their identity, so much is tied up to it. Another reason they don't want to plan is they don't want to jinx things. Sometimes someone doesn't want to talk about after the exit until the business sale has closed. And it's just something that's not familiar to them as well. So there's a lot of psychological parts to the business transaction as well.
One of the goals here of this series is to shed light on the importance of proper exit planning. So to
Mhm.
break that down a little bit, can you tell us, how long, how much time does a business need? How far should they start planning in advance to exit their business?
Yeah. Well, I would say as part of any business's strategic plan, they should know what exit strategies could be at any time within the business. You see businesses unfortunately transition due to death, divorce, etc., disagreement between partners. And so always having some ideas of what an exit could look like, it should be part of a strategic plan for the business. However, if they know they actually are looking to transition out from a liquidity standpoint, 3 to 5 years is when I think they really should start honing in on what does that look like.
So you mentioned, there's a lot of sort of preconceived notions around exit planning. They kind of stick their head in the sand. They don't want to think about it because they're
Mhm.
thinking that it's like exiting. So when you start to work with clients, can you give us like a 10,000-foot view of sort of what are the things that they need to consider when it starts to put together a plan for exit? What are the big pillars?
Yeah, I think one of them would be, do they want to sell to an outside buyer, a strategic buyer, or so forth? Do they want a PE firm to purchase them? Or do they want to sell to existing management and so forth? And are there people that are in a position to be able to kind of step up both financially and from a leadership standpoint to do so? Or is it a combination of both? So those are some of the things to think about on what would maybe the structure of it would be. The other thing to think about is how do they get the best value for their business, and really understanding what is a buyer going to pay for from a multiple perspective, and what type of things should they be looking at. For example, if they have key customer risk, that's something that a buyer is either going to not pay as high a multiple for, or they're going to have a substantial earnout or so forth to make sure that those clients transition with the business. And if they're thinking 3 to 5 years prior to sale, maybe they start to diversify their client base a little bit, and from their sales team starts looking for some other clients to kind of even out where the revenue is coming from. 3 to 5 years beforehand, also thinking about who could be leading the business internally, because depending on what type of buyer is looking to purchase the business, if they're not looking to be active in the business, they're going to want a strong management team that can transition into that role or already show that they've been successful in it. Also, when they exit, are they okay staying on for a period of time? Depending on the type of structure, they should be looking at that. Also, they might be getting a big number for the sale, but really, is that number big enough to maintain the lifestyle they need and to do that planning ahead of time? Because I have seen it where they think the number's big enough, and then you start to do the planning and it's not really going to work, and they already have an agreement signed.
Great insight. Kelly, what inspired you to get in this field and specifically help business owners with their exit planning? How did you get started?
I'm in the, I live in the Wisconsin market, so a lot of the clients in this part of the country are privately held business owners. So it started to be something that they were just the type of clients that I worked with. I really enjoy working with them. A lot of these entrepreneurs are just brilliant people. And so it's really interesting work to help them, and then to help their families as the transition happens. So that's kind of where it came from.
Before I ask you my last question, in regards to exit planning, is there anything that I didn't think to ask you that you feel is important to share with business owners?
Um, I think it's the soft side of a transaction, and really thinking about um, how a transaction is exciting as it can be, and there's a big dollar amount, to start to think about that emotional part of it prior to it. A lot of their identity is tied up in the business, and how is that transition going to feel? What is the after the transaction look like?
Sage advice. For business owners listening who would love to speak with you, how can they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, just search my name, Kelly Baumbach. My email address is Kelly, period, Baumbach, Baumbach, at bakertilly.com.
This has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you.
That was Kelly Baumbach, and this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, lead their fields, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.